destination unknown.
It is almost go time here in Fort Worth. What's going on, everybody? Tommy Marquez alongside Lauren Collier. We are here at the TYR Athlete Check-In just outside the Dickies Arena here in Fort Worth as we get ready for the kickoff to the 2024 CrossFit Games. Lauren, we talk about how long the season is. It feels like we're finally here. We're on the doorstep.
It's the build up to this moment, and you can even feel it in the energy. There's something really special, especially a new location. We got a lot of rookies competing this year. People are showing up in their cowboy hats from the check-in process yesterday, and the TYR check-in, more than 60% of the athletes have shown up, and it has been so much fun.
Yeah, we've been here the last couple of days, and we had a little bit of a preview show earlier this morning. I hope you guys checked it out. But we've been here all day, athletes filtering in, getting to check out this new Games colorway called For What It's Worth, a special silver colorway that all TYR athletes that are sponsored for the Games will get. And we'll be giving away some of those shoes a little bit later today. But I want to talk a little bit about what we know so far and some stuff that's come down the pipe today, specifically from some programming. Mm-hmm. Some of the athletes just came in the door from a briefing where they were
came
told
from there.
Yeah, they were told they're going to have to swing a hammer and they're going to have to flip some tires and do some weird stuff.
And some of them maybe have never done any housework before, no renovations. Some of our wiser athletes on the roster, though, they have a sledgehammer in their toolkit, and it definitely showed as they were figuring out what was the best strategy to take about that workout. Because I guess they had about 3 minutes to work with the judge and figure out technique to go through and get used to what would be the best option for when they take it on later this week. Yeah,
they had a very specific time window to practice the technique. Like you said, they had access to a judge to do it live. From what I hear, some no reps, so it's going to be an interesting sight to see as we see that play out. We haven't seen the sledgehammer, at least a form of a hammer, go since 2017, I believe, when we had another version of the was it the banger sled that they had to hit when we were back in Madison. But some of the stuff that's a little bit more straightforward, the mile run. Lauren, you and I, if you haven't already, you can go check it out on our Instagram. Lauren and I tested out a variation of the mile run for Lauren, the full mile for me at Farrington Field. Actually put those TYR knit runners to the test and got a little feel of what the athletes are going to hit on Friday.
Yeah, because we did it at 8 p.m. So to really showcase what is it going to be like, how is it going to feel? And truthfully, I don't know about you, but the heat wasn't a factor to me. No. It was more like, I'm not hydrated right now. I've barely eaten. And my warm-up was probably not how the athletes are going to warm up, which was no warm up.
Yeah, my warm up was taking a handful of Sour Patch watermelons and putting them right into my face and then lining up and going. But yeah, it's anyone, if you're in the area and you're thinking about coming out, if you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, or even just a few hours away, remember, it is free to attend the Friday Night Lights.
Let's pack the house.
Yes, go to Farrington Field. It's a really cool venue, I have to say, seeing it firsthand. The track's in great condition. The athletes are going to rip this thing. And I'm hearing some fast potential times from some of the athletes that have snuck in this way. I'm going to keep it confidential for them for now. Okay. But, some exciting stuff.
We'll see how many of them can beat Tommy's time because he was fast. He's fast on his feet. Some of you that guessed his times, almost 9 minutes, not even close.
Yeah. I got
lower.
Got some long getaway sticks, and I put them to good use the other day. But coming up later in the show, we're going to hear from some athletes live. We're also going to be giving away a brand new pair of the CX2 trainers in that For What It's Worth color pack. So you're going to get to sport what some of the athletes are going to be wearing on the field. We'll hook you up there. The way you win, drop a comment in this live show now. Tell us what would be the first workout you would do with a brand new pair of shoes. Shab Wundlet's sitting behind the scenes. He's going to be picking that out, and we'll be dropping that in live when we announce it. So be sure to comment below. Let us know what workout you'd be doing, and maybe you could win some fancy new footwear. But earlier today, we did get a chance to catch up with some athletes that filtered in earlier. And one of them, you may have heard his name before. He's an 11-time CrossFit Games athlete, and his name is Bjorgvin Carl Gudmundsson. We're getting things kicked off here at the TYR Athlete Check-In, and I am joined now by 11-time CrossFit Games qualifier, Bjorgvin Carl Gudmundsson, the notorious BKG. BK, we were just chatting before this, 11 years.
Yeah.
How does it feel just to hear that sheer number?
It's been coming slowly. After the semifinals, the question
questions that I've been getting have been like, how do you do it? Like, are you not getting tired? When are you going to retire? Like all of those kind of questions. But it's like, it doesn't, like, I think I told everybody this last year, but it doesn't really feel like 11. Partly probably because this is the third location of the games. It doesn't feel like I'm repeating it like every year.
Yeah.
So, I just have a good team behind me. I really like the sport. I like doing CrossFit, right? I mean, that's the success, is to like what you're doing.
Yeah. And for you, how do you maintain that passion for it? Because we do see, and this has been kind of at the forefront recently with athletes getting burnt out or taking steps aside. You've been the steady constant. What does that look like both from a support standpoint, whether it's sponsors, people that have got your back?
So basically, like, you need to have a strong team behind you. I've had the same team behind me for now 11 years, or actually 12, before I made it for my first time.
Yeah.
Yami and the training plan, my agent Snorri, my friends. I've always lived in the same location, same gym. My brother was the owner of that gym, or is the owner of the gym, and his wife. So it's kind of like, just like, I've got that stable, good background, and I feel like that might be one of the reasons why I'm still doing it. Then also, it's just like me and Yami, my coach, were very good at coming up with reasons each year on how to get better, like what to work on each year. And we kind of never lose the sight of trying to be better. And I would say that's probably the number one key.
I like that. It's very balanced, very steady. And I think that's no surprise why you've been at the top for so long. You mentioned you're one of the few athletes that has competed now or will compete at all three of the modern venues
Exactly.
for the CrossFit Games.
Yeah.
Just real quick, initial, I guess, assessment on Fort Worth so far.
Yeah. Fort Worth is amazing. This is like, usually when we do the training camps, we go somewhere else. Like when it was in Madison, we would go to a small town called Fond du Lac, which is 90-minute drive outside.
Yep.
But now we just went straight here, mostly because of the heat. We just wanted to train a little bit in the heat. This camp has also been like a little bit shorter.
Yeah.
Like, they have told us that most of the events are inside. So we thought to ourselves, okay, it's going to be 1 or 2 events outside. Let's deal with it. Let's get out there like enough time before the games, but we didn't want to make it too long of a trip. Like, we didn't want to be training for too long just in the heat. You know what I mean? So I feel like we did most of the quality training at home, and then once we have kind of moved over to here, it's been more of like trying to acclimatize and get used to the time difference, and then of course that blazing heat. We don't get that back in Iceland.
Oh man, yeah, that's. I've been there. I went to the Reykjavik CrossFit Championship back in the day. A little bit different temperature for sure. But we're here at Tier Check-In. Last question before you go. Starting to get all your games gear. Initial assessment on the colorway. We got a little special color back for you guys.
I like the color. I think this year it kind of fits with everything. Look at my shirt.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like the shoes, right? It fits perfectly. Last year, maybe a little bit harder to kind of navigate like what to wear compared to having the yellow shoe. But honestly, also just the CXT2, great shoe. I've been wearing it now for 2 days, just like breaking that in a little bit. It's promising. It's not going to hold me back. It's going to be me this time.
Oh, there we go. There's a good and bad behind that too, for sure. But BK, as always, thanks for joining, and best of luck this weekend.
Thank you so much.
BK, I mean, he's so steady, so wise, and you got an awesome interview that's coming out with him later.
TV gold. If you want to see BKG be Iceland's next top model, if you want to learn about his skincare routine and why he looks so youthful at 31, this is an Instagram post that you're not going to want to miss that will come out later this afternoon.
Getting the good inside details on what makes the man so successful.
I ask him the hard-hitting questions that we need.
I'm not going to lie. I saw a clip of it. Yeah, he's going to break some hearts with that one for sure. But he talked about the silver colorway. We're getting some comments down below about the silver colorway. If you guys want to learn a little bit more, we actually have some stuff coming out from Corey Berger, who's the director of marketing and partnerships for Tier. The idea behind the whole For What It's Worth color pack, some history. It's actually really cool. Has some music ties, a little rebellious spirit. And if you can't tell now, once they get on the competition floor and the lights are shining, they do have a little bit of like a silver sparkle, which I know you love.
I love it because it's one of those things that at first glance, if you're not looking in the light or you just see it in the shade, it's going to look like this really muted gray color. But then as soon as the light or the sun hits it just right, it has almost like a wristband that glimmers, sparkles in the sun. So it's going to look pretty cool once they're out there on the floor.
It's like one of those optical illusion books when you're a kid. You kind of have to squint and turn your eyes, and then suddenly it changes. But it's pretty cool nonetheless. And they're available now, so you can go and get your color pack for the games shoes, including some of the new stuff that they just released, like this high top. So we're going to hear in just a moment. We're going to hear from Lazar Dukic live. One of the reigning European champions and one of the fittest guys on earth, hoping to make a splash on day one. But earlier today, we did catch up with an athlete who's hoping to make a little bit of a comeback after a year off. He hails from CrossFit Mayhem and down south in Brazil. He's one of the most explosive men in CrossFit, and his name is G Guilherme. Joining us now is G Guilherme. Gui, we missed you last year. You're back. How does it feel to be back?
Like the first time.
Really?
Good to be back. Training this year like as my first time, or trying to keep the excitement and the joy that I had in my first years. And yeah, it was great rest in 2023. Not competing was a blessing for me. So right now I'm just ready to roll and ready to have fun again.
Yeah, it's funny because you mentioned the joy. A lot of our introductions to you was in the teenage division.
Yeah.
Back at Madison when you hit that big snatch. I think it was 292-ish.
One.
Oh, yeah, there we go. But you could see the joy, right? The excitement. And how do you find that once you feel like it is left a little bit?
Finding identity, not giving so much importance to result and leaderboard and this kind of stuff. Money, pressure, people, what people say about the athletes, that kind of stuff. So I think that over the years I kind of lost that essence and lost that joy that I used to have, like having fun competing. It became like a burden, like a heavy stuff that I was carrying, like unnecessarily.
Yeah.
But I found it leaning in God and trying to find my identity and having fun again, not worrying about pressure, not worrying about results, like just having fun. And when I have fun is where I get my best results. So we had a great season, a great training season. And now I'm just ready to roll. I enjoyed every single moment in training. It sucks a little bit, but now I'm ready to roll.
I think that should get everyone excited, right? Because when you are at your best, it's nothing short of spectacular, right? Fireworks can happen. You can win multiple events at the games, which you have done in the past. And I would be remiss if I didn't say, how are you feeling about the clean weights that just got announced? Because I think everyone has you circled on that one.
Yeah, of course. It's a home run, so I'll make sure that I hit it. We had some tests in training, but I haven't been lifting in a while. Mm-hmm. So I'm more excited for the swim run than for the cleans.
Really?
Honestly. People think that I love to weightlifting and love to do this kind of stuff. But what I really enjoy is like to do hard workouts and to enjoy the suffer. And the home runs are, just to show off and
just a little icing on the cake, right?
Give the people what they want.
Yeah, no doubt. And as you mentioned, you wanted to feel like the first time again. We are in Fort Worth for the first time. We're here at the TYR Athlete Check-in. What's been your kind of take on the vibe, the atmosphere, and the process getting into the games in this new home?
Oh, it's just good. Like the city's new, the venue's new. We just got off the orientation, the briefing, and the venue is amazing. So everything's new, like new athletes coming in, new events. That's some cool stuff, like new apparel, like new equipment.
Yeah.
So I'm just feeling good about it. New city. There are a lot of places to eat, good places to eat. There's a Brazilian steak that I want to go.
Oh, yeah. Do you remember when we first met?
It was where?
At the 18.1 open announcement.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and you sat next to me at the Brazilian steakhouse.
That's true.
And you looked at me and you were like, we could just go? And I was like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've ever seen anyone eat as much food as you did that day. We were just putting it down. So whatever steakhouse you go to, You got to let them know Guy's coming. They're going to have to stock up.
That's true. That's true.
Well, man, thank you so much for joining. It's good to catch up. Excited to see what the weekend holds for you.
Me too. Thank you for having me. See you guys.
Always good to hear from Guy. And we are joined now live by the reigning and defending European semifinal champion, Lazar Dukic. Lazar, thanks for joining us. How you doing, and how are you feeling going into a new season and a new location?
Hi guys, good to be here. I mean, it feels like almost being a rookie in a new place, but I feel like when we start tomorrow, it's just gonna roll from there. So I think everybody right now is pretty stressed, pretty amped. But as soon as you finish the first one, that's over, and then you just go from there.
Knowing that you have experience behind you, is there a certain routine that you do right before the games? Are you superstitious? What does that look like?
I mean, I am a little bit superstitious, but I can't tell you what I'm doing because I don't want other guys to start doing it. I mean,
So it's not lucky socks or anything?
No.
Okay.
I mean, the most important part for me is to have my team around me, and that's been a team that's been like working pretty well in the past couple of years. It's like consists of Josie, my girlfriend, and I have a new old coach. I mean, I'm back with my coach from 2021. And yeah, we are all here ready to go. And this year, in addition to all of them, I have my brother here, which is pretty exciting. And I'm very proud of him. And yeah, we are pretty excited to go and to show. Like last time we were here together, I was 9th, he was 29th. We want to show how much we improved. And yeah, we are happy and ready to go.
Yeah. Oh, and you just mentioned your brother. Like, what does that do having him there? I mean, obviously having family with you in any situation, but you know, the brotherly bond is special, obviously, but having someone that you can relate to on a very personal level, that's also family at a very stressful sport like this. What does that do for you?
It's as much as we love it, it's kind of a bit stressful because there is somebody you want to do good also, like other than you.
Oh, yeah,
So
yeah.
there's like other side of that where if let's say one of us does good and one of us does bad, the other one can't like fully appreciate what he's doing because of the other one. So I hope we are all both of us are going to have a good weekend and just be happy all around, and like all both of us are excited to chase our goals, and yeah, it's pretty special for us being back.
How have your goals changed throughout the years when you're thinking about expectations, even just looking at the programming, how it emerges and changes over the years?
I mean, my goals definitely changed. My first goal was to like show that I belong, and I've done it now 4 times, like 3 top 10s, and my only goal is to win. And yeah, it changed. Like I was not as confident, I was not as sure of myself last couple of years, but this year I think I had a very good trajectory leading up to the games, and I feel fitter than I ever was. I worked a lot on my strength, so I think that's improved. And yeah, I'm ready to show everybody that I'm here to like go for it.
Yeah,
Here to party.
Yeah, no doubt. And speaking of that, we start with a run and a swim. And I don't know if you remember this. I think it was back in Dubai, maybe 2020. You almost had like a little chip on your shoulder for like the swimming events, and you almost wanted to prove to everyone how good of a swimmer you were by beating the likes of like Yona and Brent and everything like that. I mean, I'm going to give you a chance to call your shot right now. Is this something that like we're going to see Lazar walk away with the white leaders jersey?
Yeah, I'm dreaming like of that jersey for like a couple of weeks now since they announced the run and swim. I mean, I was 4th last year in just running, and when we did the 2021 swim and kayak, I was 3rd guy out of the water. Yona is not here now, so it's pretty much me and Tikowski, like also like Sprague maybe, like top 3 swimmers, but I think I can get them on the run. So definitely my goal is to win that event and wear the target from then on.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You going to be bumping shoulders on that run with anybody this year, Lazar?
I hope not. I hope not. I don't know how, but Pat Vellner gave me a curse of first event somewhere, somehow.
Oh,
and
man.
I've been wearing it for 2022 when I missed a lap, and then 2023 when I crashed on the bike. I hope this year is going to be a different start for me. So I pretty much ride the wave. So if I start bad, I'm gonna ride a negative wave. If I start good, I'm gonna ride the positive wave. So I hope we start good and just ride the wave from there.
Yeah, well, I mean, looking forward to it because now you look at what's been announced. You have the Lake Day, you have Hammer Down, and then you have Amanda 45. I don't know, man. I hear you're pretty good at muscle ups. I've seen you do some work on that movement. Like day one as a whole looks pretty good. How you feeling about that?
Honestly, everything that's announced until now is pretty much in my wheelhouse. I mean, I don't want to brag, but there's not much stuff that's not in my wheelhouse. And I'm excited for what's announced and for what's coming because I want to show everybody that I'm not just good in those stuff. I'm good on everything. So,
and kind of speaking to that, before you came here was the briefing, the first time that you guys were inside Dickey's Arena and they showed you one of the workouts. Then they allowed you to kind of play around with the sledgehammer for that event later this week. Was that the first time that you've done a movement like that? How did you learn on the fly? What was the experience?
I am very grateful to have had my father when I was growing up. He made me and Luca work really hard around the house, and we did a lot of chores. So it was not my first time picking up the hammer. But honestly, when I first picked it up, I'm like, oh man, this is way heavier than I expected. So 200 reps of that is not going to be easy. And honestly, it's a long weekend, but you can really make yourself, you can really put yourself in trouble if you get blister on that hammer. So think of a long game and don't ruin your hands or ruin your back or whatever in that event, because it's 200 reps of hammer, a lot of sand throwing, a lot of tire flips. Everything is basically on your forearms. So you have muscle ups later. You gotta be able to do both of those workouts, not just if you take first and then you take last. That's not good. So have balanced scores.
Are there any rules, maybe against wearing gloves? Are you thinking about potentially wearing gloves?
We are not allowed to wear gloves.
Okay.
Oh,
and
okay.
now we know.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Lots of chalk.
But I do feel, I like the insight though. It does feel like you know some of that veteran insight of being able to dissect a workout on the fly and figure that out. And so. So far, so good for you, Lazar. We won't keep you much longer. We'll say we might owe your dad a belated thank you for all the hammer work back in the day. That's also some good insight as well. But best of luck. Before we let you go, we want to remind everyone, if you want to win a brand new pair of CX2 trainers in the For What It's Worth pack, that nifty silver we got going on, drop a comment below and what would be the first workout that you would do in these new trainers. Maybe it's one of the game's workouts. Maybe it's a hero workout. Maybe just go for a run. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. And Sean, behind the scenes, will be the one to pick a winner. You can see him on your screen right now. Those things are nifty for sure. We've been stress testing a little bit. But Lazar, last question before you go. I know everyone says that, walking away successful depends on effort, right? And how you feel you execute. I'll shift it up a little bit. If you execute to the fullest ability, what do you think placement is possible for you?
If I execute well, I mean, to win, you have to have a little bit of luck. It's not just let's what happened to Roman last year.
Yeah,
he twisted his ankle last day. So to win, you have to be a bit lucky. But to podium, it's just fitness. So if I execute everything to my abilities, podium is very possible. And then if events stack up in my favor, if judges were kind to me, if all goes really smooth, I'm hoping for a win. So let's see.
We can't wait to see you out there, Lazar. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
No doubt. Thank you. That's Lazar Dukic, hoping for a fourth straight top 10 finish and maybe a podium from the reigning European semifinal. One last interview we're going to get to hear from is an athlete who made his debut at the Games over a decade ago. He hails from the U.S. and down in Georgia. He's an affiliate owner, father of four, and his name is Travis Mayer. Joined now by Travis Mayer. Travis, we were just talking. You've been at the Games since 2013.
Thank you.
Feels like a lifetime ago.
Yeah.
But what has been the key for you to stay at the top consistently and also be able to handle some adversity with some years where, you missed qualifying and come right back firing?
Yeah, I mean, I think one is just having a good coach, right? I think a big thing is having somebody in your corner that you trust and don't change coaches every year when something doesn't go well. I mean, me and Max have seen the ups and downs, the highs, the lows throughout my entire career, and times where it's like, all right, maybe do we throw in the towel? And it's like, no, we reassess, look back and see the things that we can change and adjust. And I mean, the fact that I'm still the only one from 2013, I think kind of speaks for itself that no one else here is doing that and has been at that longevity in the sport yet. I mean, yeah, there's the Annies and the other people that have still done it, but I still feel like competing at the highest level, it's pretty special to be able to do that. So I think having a good support system, good coach, all those things kind of fall into it. But yeah.
Some good wisdom. And speaking of wisdom, I know that you went through some changes in the more recent months in this off season. So games prep has looked a little bit different with combining businesses and everything like that.
Yeah.
You're a father of 4. How do you manage all that?
You know, that's a good question. And I feel like I get that question a lot. And I think a lot of it is just I prioritize things at the right time and delegate things. And I have a really awesome wife and family that help support and do these things. Like when I am at the gym and when we are moving a gym and a whole entire business and now combining the businesses and trying to make sure everything flows and is seamless for all the members, it's definitely hard. But I don't know. I've always just made it happen. I feel like you just kind of adapt and you figure it out. And if you want to pursue something, I feel like you make enough effort at it that you can continue to strive towards that. And so for me, being at the games is something I've always loved doing and competing at, and I'm still competitive. So for me, knowing I don't have eternity with this sport, right? Like it's being able to capitalize when you do. And so I'm pretty much just continuing to do that for as long as possible until I feel like I would take away from the family time or take away from other things.
Oh man, I love your perspective on things. I'm going to put you on the spot here because I'm going to be a first-time dad, hopefully in October.
Oh,
so
congrats! October's a great month. That was when I was born. So it's a great month
good.
already.
We're off to a good start here.
Good.
And one piece of sage advice you could give to me as someone who's in the space too, trying to figure out our way as parents eventually.
Yeah, I mean, I think you expect the unexpected. I mean, I think you can't ever prepare yourself for it. Like you can read all the books, you can do all the classes, you can do everything you can possibly think of. But I think like every kid's different, how they all operate, even all of mine, they're all so different in every way, shape, and form. But I think just like a healthy baby is like the most important thing, and you love it and care for it, and you're always there showing up for them. I feel like that's the most important thing that you can always like do for your kid. And then hopefully when they get older, they learn to spread their own wings and fly. And I mean, that's what you're trying to cultivate at a young age. But I mean, I think you just soak it up, just enjoy it. The long nights, the crying, it all goes away and it stops. But it's you miss holding them when they just fall asleep on you. I mean, those are some pretty special moments. I wish I soaked up more when they were at that age that you just like kind of forget about because there's so many other things happening. But it's a really cool thing.
Oh man,
it's a really cool thing.
You got me pumped for what's coming down the pipe.
Yeah.
You said expect the unexpected. It's kind of like the CrossFit Games a little bit, but you know, parent for time, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it is. And it's learning to adapt and figure out everything. Like the kid's going to wake up some nights they might not wake up. And no, that sounded bad.
They'll sleep through the
night. That sounded terrible. Oh my God. Oh God. No, all my kids are awake and doing well. Yeah, I mean, I think it's just to kind of enjoy it all. It's a lot of fun. And I think everybody always talks about the negative things of raising kids, but I mean, it's so much fun. Like they don't talk about all the awesome things that happen from it and watch them ride bikes and learn how to score basketball or whatever it is, like the little things that like they get so excited about where you kind of see that in CrossFit gym, right? When people get their first muscle up or something else, like that excitement and joy, like, but they have that all the time, which is so fun.
Yeah, that get me fired up, like I mentioned. But we are here for the CrossFit Games.
We are
a new venue. You've been one of the few athletes that's been to all three of the modern venues, right? What do you think so far about Fort Worth, about what's been announced? You guys just went through some briefings and got some stuff announced from programming perspective, but what's your outlook on it?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, this is probably one of the few years where I'm going into it with kind of no expectation. I'm just kind of like here to enjoy it. I feel like usually I put this pressure and feelings of like I have to do something or I have to hit a certain place to like almost like feel good about the weekend. And usually when I leave, I'm like disappointed and didn't enjoy it. And I think part of doing this is, right, like I love what I do, right? But when I get here, the pressure or whatever else just kind of amplifies. So for me, it's honestly going out, having a good time, and letting the leaderboard speak for itself. And I mean, I think based on what they've announced so far, there are definitely things that I like enjoy doing. And I feel like running, I love running. So the more running, the better for me.
You're a sneaky good runner. You are a sneaky good runner.
I mean, I grew up cross country and stuff. So I mean, I've always like enjoyed just that kind of thing, and then the cleans and that kind of stuff so far. And then we had some just grunt work that we're going to have to do that they just announced, the sledgehammer, which is going to have its own weird obstacles and judging errors, of course, with movement like that. But I think it's going to be pretty cool so far. And I think the venue, the setup of it, it definitely has like a different vibe to it. But I think when that stadium is packed, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Like, I think like just knowing everybody's in there, like it's going to get loud. And I think that's always something I loved about Carson, that it was just like, it felt like people were on top of you screaming, which was so cool. And same thing with like Madison, just in the stadium. But knowing all the events are taking place inside, right? It's going to feel better from air conditioning and that side, that it's going to feel pretty good in there, that just knowing everybody's there to watch a good show.
Oh, man. Well, I think we're excited to get the show rolling. I know you are. And, man, best of luck. It's always great catching up. And thank you for the sage advice.
Of course, man. Always.
Appreciate it. Oh, man. Travis Mayer, such a cool dude. Honestly, doesn't get enough credit for, his time management skills just in general, and B, what he's been able to do over such a long career, despite maybe not necessarily having that like flashy podium finish under his belt.
He is one of those athletes that is proof in the concept of what they do and longevity with an athlete and sport. And if you do things the right way and make sure that you are prioritizing, because he does own an affiliate and they just moved. He has a family. He's a professional athlete. I think it's so interesting when you see somebody like him prove that it's possible to continue to do this for so many years at the highest level.
Yeah. And in an increasing level of, I guess, belief that the Venn diagram of crossing over between the sport and methodology seems to be separating. He is living proof, I think, that it's still strong, the ties between both sides, because he is an affiliate owner, as you mentioned. Yeah. He does still coach a lot of his classes. He has been a productive family member, father, like we mentioned, and an athlete for so long. And now he's like easily one of the oldest guys in the field.
Wisest,
but he's also continuing to get better. And that's a core tenet of CrossFit, right? Like, we're not just fitness in a snapshot. We want to build that fitness over time and fitness for life. And I think that's what keeps all of us coming back, day after
chasing
today.
The carrot.
Yes, exactly.
Even as we get older.
No doubt. So a big thank you to all the athletes for sure that have joined the show so far. But one thing we do want to talk about before we announce our winner of the shoes, TYR's also doing some cool stuff the rest of this week. They're going to be handing out these athlete card packs. Lauren, I know you got a few athletes in front of you right now. They have built these card packs, these trading card packs from all their athletes. They're going to be handing them out, but there's going to be a little twist. Anyone who's in the collectibles, the card trading, you're breaking packs, you know that every once in a while you find that golden card or you get that special one that makes it all worth it. Well, in these packs, there are some treats hidden. A few of these will be selected. You open it up and you'll be able to win the entire Games line. Not just a single shoe, the entire For What It's Worth pack. So every shoe that the athletes are getting. So if you're in the Fort Worth area, you're running around town, be sure to check out all of TYR's channels to figure out how you can get your pack. And maybe you could win, new footwear across the board, which is, it's pretty exciting.
It is. And I mean, just looking at this check-in process altogether, and as we mentioned at the top, if you're just joining us, more than 60% of the athletes at the games are going to be repping TYR this week. And just the way that they've set everything up, they have the giveaways, the royal treatment of having athletes sign jerseys, and it just really gets the party started before all of the action on the field takes place.
No doubt, especially, first year in a new venue. We've said that kind of, consistently throughout, and you've heard it from the athletes, having these processes kind of brings a sense of normalcy, talking to the athletes as they float in and around. It's almost like their check-in for summer camp.
Yeah.
It's like you got your sleeping bag and you got your backpack.
Catch up with everyone.
All right, let's go. How you doing? All right, good to see you. Let's go have some fun.
Yeah.
But yes, it is now time to announce our winner of the CX2 shoe, and which one of you, in Sean Woodland's opinion, had the best one. Okay, here we go. This is from Slater. He said, I do Hot Shots 19 because I'm a firefighter, and I'll be there at Dickey's tomorrow if I get picked. As someone
Make it happen.
I mean, as someone who was there in Prescott, Arizona for the Hot Shots 19 original announcement workout and throwdown live, it was such a powerful moment in the wake of a real tragedy, and which is why they created that hero workout for those firefighters. So I think that's an awesome choice, Sean. Slater, you'll be here. You have to shoot us a DM at our Talking Elite Fitness Instagram account. We'll get your email and everything to make sure. And since you're here in Fort Worth, we'll try and maybe link you with the TYR people directly and maybe walk away without having to wait on shipping and everything like that. So
congratulations.
Thank you to everyone for commenting down below and for watching live. We're going to be wrapping things up here at the TYR Athlete Check-In as we get ready, because tomorrow the CrossFit Games are starting. We've mentioned it before. This is CrossFit Christmas Eve. We pretty much know day one. We have a few more reveals to go on day two before we get into the cuts. And I'll say right now, Lauren, what are you most excited to see from the workouts that have been announced?
Oh, gosh, that's one of the hardest questions, because I feel like each of the ones that we've seen, I'm excited about a different part of it. Like yesterday when we were at Farrington Field, I think that really hyped me up, where on paper I wasn't as excited, but actually being there, I'm like, oh, this actually could be super cool. Amanda 45, I think, as the repeat, just from a storytelling perspective, I'm really interested to go back and watch what that looks like on the broadcast in the ESPN window. And of course, a heavy clean, the clean ladder.
Yeah.
I mean, at those specific weights, when you look at them, yeah, you could say the strongest athlete's going to win. I think that is the easy pick, but it's not necessarily always the one that is going to end up on top. And I have a couple of people that I'm going to keep my eye on. One of them was here yesterday. We may or may not have an interview with her on Instagram.
Interesting. Okay, you have to check out our Instagram to get that. I'll piggyback off one you said, Amanda 45 for me. It hits all the right notes as far as the CrossFit Games, the test, retest, honoring people in our community who have, paid the ultimate price. Amanda Miller, 2010 Games athlete who, 2009 Games athlete who had Amanda named in her honor at the 2010 Games. We talked about it in our full podcast. You can go check that out. Amanda was the first event at the 2010 Games. It was the first event inside the Coliseum at the 2017 Games, and 7-year gaps between it. Now we get to see a new batch of athletes primarily get to test it, with a few that'll get to retest. And I just have a feeling that first event, hopefully it pops off. And if not, it'll just be a good way to kind of set the mark heading into the weekend. So that's going to do it for us here at the TYR Athlete Check-In. A special thanks to TYR for hosting us the last couple of days, and for doing such good work with all the athletes in the space.
It's been so much fun.
If you want to go check it out, you can go to TYR's website. You can get the full kit for what it's worth now. It's available in stores. You can order them, and for some people, you can get them here in Fort Worth as well. So we'll be back bringing you guys coverage all weekend long, covering athlete interviews and the like behind the scenes, and it should be a good time. And Sean will be directing from home, so he is definitely missed, and we wish you were here, buddy, but we appreciate all the help as well. So for Lauren Khalil, I'm Tommy Marquez. Rest up, everybody, and get ready for what should be an exciting CrossFit Games, because we kick it off